One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com. One of our favorite sponsors is back.
Have you ever listened to High Hawks?
Out of a owl?
That you got at Electric Fish Lights?
You should.
You can.
You totally.
You should. You really should. Go. You know what? Go to electricfishlights.com and check out what we're talking about. These are really amazing, handcrafted, custom lights. They're made with a thing called IQ technology, which stands for interlocking quadrilaterals. And it's made from upcycled vinyl like milk jug plastics. So check this out. You tell them what you want, what the design is. You could ask for a Grateful Dead bolt lamp, or a Steal Your Face, or a hawk, or an owl.
Yeah.
Which is one of the latest ones they did that you can see over at their site. It's awesome.
It's really cool. And they come with a 12-year energy-efficient, safe-to-leave-on bulb, a 12-foot cord, and a hardware kit to hang the light. And check this out. Any NSR family member that gets the color-changing bulb upgrade, because they do have that, you get a limited edition No Simple Road Electric Fish Lights collaborative print. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can even upgrade to a Bluetooth bulb if you want. So the light will not only look cool in your house, it will change colors, play music.
Change colors to the music.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's true. We fail to mention that.
Yeah, it has a feature to
There's
set
so
to the
many
music so it
features.
flashes to the beat.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. So go check them out, electricfishlights.com, or go to @electricfishlights on Instagram. And when you check out, put in the promo code NSR, and you're going to get 10% off your purchase. And make sure you get that color changing upgrade and get yourself a poster, because it's pretty fucking dope what happens when you turn that color changing bulb on the poster.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to go walking into that first show or third show or something back in the same old shit you wore last year?
I'm
Hopefully
not.
not.
No.
I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm going to
You're-
go to Shop
Tour
Tour
Bus.
Bus.
You're going to do that.
That's right.
Why are you going to do that, Mel?
I'm going to go pick up a dope new t-shirt, maybe a hoodie for the nighttime festivals, maybe some socks, couple stickers to hand out and to put on my new water bottle.
Okay.
And it's got some really dope Grateful Dead inspired artwork.
Yeah, it is the Digital Lot's coolest Grateful Dead inspired merchandise. And it doesn't just come in a Mylar bag. It comes
No.
in a one-of-a-kind hand-designed box with all kinds of cool extras on the inside of the box. And
And you can personalize the box.
yeah, and when I say cool extras, that just like goes by your brain. But check this out. There's like trinkets and toys and little
Stickers.
weird additions and candy.
Yeah, candies and gum and erasers. I've gotten a little skeleton. I got a little cowboy action figure, an army man.
I got a tiny little I don't know what I got.
Right? You can
Well,
get
it was like a
table,
little
you don't know
rubber
what it
toy,
is.
and I couldn't remember what it was.
A little finger dude.
No, well, I did get a finger dude.
Yeah.
That is
so
true.
You too can have a finger dude. No.
It's fun stuff is what it is.
It is. It's a little box of love. And if you put it in the promo code No Simple Road at Shop Tour Bus,
No Simple Road.
you are going to get free shipping because you and they are part of the No Simple Road family. And some lucky few of you are going to get a Miracle cassette bootleg,
Wow.
in your order.
A bootleg.
So go to shoptourbus.com or at shoptourbus on Instagram and put in the promo code No Simple Road when you're checking out. Get yourself free shipping. You could get that Miracle cassette tape bootleg, and you're going to have some really cool clothes to wear to that next show. I can't think of another podcast that makes sure that you're taken care of as far as your weed is concerned.
Nope. And
No.
one that offers discounts.
Yeah. So check this out. Define Premium Cannabis is a sponsor of No Simple Road, and they're giving the No Simple Road family 10% off every time you go in. So how do you get that, Apple?
Well, when you come into one of our locations, we have one in Forest Grove and one in Hillsboro, where I'm at all the time. You come in there, tell us you're a listener. We will give you 10% off your purchase every time. First time in, you also get a free t-shirt, which you can wear that
pretty cool.
t-shirt back in for an extra 5%. So if you play your cards right, you say you're a listener, you get 10%, wear that shirt, you get another 5%, you walk out 15% discount
Yeah.
on your
That's
purchase.
pretty incredible.
And let's just get it straight. We're talking about cannabis and cannabis-related products.
That's right.
Yes.
Define
Like
Premium Cannabis.
Edibles,
Tinctures.
topicals, like everything.
Yeah, bath bombs, all kinds of fun stuff.
You know what? So if you're in the Portland area and you haven't visited Define, it is one of the top 3 dispensaries in Oregon. That's an actual fact. I didn't just make that shit up. And our brother Apple works there. So go check it out. Define Premium Cannabis. One in Hillsboro, one in Forest Grove.
And we are having a 3-day sale coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to celebrate Independence Day. We will be having a sale, 20% almost all products. Some are already
Wow.
low enough that we can't discount them, but we will hook you up.
Go take care of your head, man. Define Premium Cannabis.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from the Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
No simple road. No simple road. No simple road. No simple road.
I owe you money?
Because you know me a long time.
No, that's how it works.
Yeah, you gotta owe me money for something.
All right, we'll go
Let
with
me
that.
check my books.
Hey now, No Simple Road family, what's up? How's everybody doing? What's going on? That's Aaron. And
Mel.
And Apple, it's hot.
it's fuck.
It's
man.
a hot one.
That's what's going on up here right now. We're here throwing down this intro, and it is what it's. I was gonna say it's Wednesday. It's Monday. It's brain melting warp time. I wish it was Wednesday. It is Monday, and we broke another record up here today.
Yeah,
from what I
112.
hear,
Yeah.
it hit 113 out in
did it?
Hillsboro. It hit 116 in some areas down south.
Wow.
It is like
got-
Oregon's not used to this weather.
Well, hang on.
Oregon
Hang
isn't, and neither are its inhabitants.
No, not even a
Yeah,
little
there's
bit.
a lot of places with no ACs up there. You don't need AC up here normally, except for maybe like one weekend or 1 week out of the year.
Well, here it is. Welcome to the week that you need AC, and also welcome to the week we have High Hawks.
Yeah.
Woo!
Chad Staehly from the High Hawks.
Chad, I didn't get to meet you, but thanks for being on the show.
This was super fun, man. So Mel was in LA when we did this interview, and it's just Apple and I. And when we were done, I didn't want to hang up. I wanted to keep hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, this was another one. When you hear it in this conversation, it was like another, like a buddy we hadn't seen in a couple of years or something. And you talk about somebody that stays busy.
Runs a record company, manages artists, has several bands.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff in the community.
Does
here.
is he? Yeah, he has a distillery.
Yeah, he has a distillery.
Yeah.
Shoot, I can't remember the name of it.
505. No, I'll shut
You're
up.
just gonna. Yeah,
I'm gonna
you're just
ruin
gonna
it. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. There's no 50 anything.
I'll tell you in a minute.
The
here.
50's here. No, it's fucking hot, man. We moved from Vegas up to
The
Portland,
heat
Oregon.
is following you guys.
And this was every day in Vegas from June until October. And holy shit, man. Being somewhere that's very green and it gets this warm, it's a different kind of hot.
What's the different hot?
I now understand the thing that I used to get pissed off that people said when we lived in Vegas, when they would say, but it's a dry heat. I never got it because I lived there for so long. I'm like, it's fucking hot. It doesn't matter if it's dry or hot.
Yeah.
It does.
It does.
It does matter.
It absolutely
Humidity.
matters.
When you walk out in Vegas, you walked out where it was like you dried out. You were just
Like
dried
you opened your
out.
oven. You opened your oven.
Yeah, you were
You
dry.
couldn't even sweat because it burned you. It
cooks.
scorches. When it's humid, it does not scorch you, and it makes you feel tacky and
Heavy.
sticky
Yeah,
and like a towel that fell in the pool and wasn't wrung out.
Yeah.
That's exactly
And
how
it's
I feel
heated up.
today.
Today, I got swamp ass walking the 45-second walk from our front door at the dispensary to the employee parking lot. Just total swamp ass. By the time I got home, my back was completely drenched because leather seats, the AC. I got a 25-minute ride home. The AC was just starting to cool off the car about the time I got off the freeway. It was just like, meh.
Did you find the distillery now that we're talking about your swamp ass?
Oh, yeah. I was looking at hold on. We'll come back to it in a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. So, here's the thing. Talking with Chad really made me appreciate, first of all, even more what the High Hawks have done with the album that they just put out. And if you haven't heard it, you need to go check this album out. It's amazing. Seriously amazing music from them.
Okay, and here it is. I can't believe I forgot that. These are dope bottles. You got to go look. It's La Crosse Distilling Company. LaCrosse. La Crosse Distilling Company. They're in Wisconsin. They're not shipping out yet, but I think that may be something they're working on.
They're the ones that have the rock and rye.
Yeah, and they're dope, Dead inspired kind of bottles and stuff. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. So the High Hawks' new album is actually self-titled, The High Hawks. And you just need to go listen to this. And if you check out their Instagram profile, there's a video up there, and it may be up on YouTube as well, but I saw it on their Instagram for singing a mountain song. And the video is a whole bunch of pictures that have been taken, I guess, while they were recording the album. And it's like a montage of their friendship of the guys in the band, and kind of a little story, pictures kind of illustrating the lyrics to the song. And watching that video really impressed on me the meaning of what they were singing, and also like took it to a new level and made me really feel the energy between the guys in the band. And then after talking with Chad and having a connection just like through Zoom, the way that we did, I can only imagine that being friends with him and playing music with him, that energy comes through, and that's why we're feeling it the way we feel it when we hear the music. You get
like
what I
they're
mean?
harnessing it, and putting it out, and people are picking it up.
And you are right on YouTube too. I was just looking, because that's the one, and you'll he talks about that in this. There's a full show from Fox Theater in Boulder, Colorado, from October 18th, 2019, and this is an amazing show. It's almost a 2-hour show, and when I asked him about it, he was like, "Oh yeah, that was 3 days after we got together. They had just put this band together, and within 3 days they got on stage and they just kill it. And Tim Carbone on the fiddle during this, it's just so haunting and beautiful."
Yeah, and then this band is has no shortage of talent. This check this out. It's Vince Herman from Leftover Salmon, Tim Carbone from Railroad Earth, so Chad from Hardworking Americans, Adam Gruel from Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, Brian Adams from Dead Fish Orchestra, and Will Trask from Great American Taxi. There's like it says here, there's 150 years of collective experience as professional touring musicians between them. I mean, that's pretty
That's
intense.
a lot of years.
Yeah. So you guys go listen to the album. It's super dope. Support these guys as they, we're all getting back out there, starting to groove again. Things are happening. Moves are being made. Dances are being danced. Feet are moving. So support them, man. They, these musicians put it all on the line for us, and they pour their creativity out into these digital mediums, and they need us to help them, man. I mean, if 2020 proved anything, it's that our musical heroes and these guys that bust their ass are vulnerable and need our support and help.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Mel, how you doing, babe? What's going on over there?
I feel drunk without being drunk. I feel high without being high. Like, I'm just kind of out of it. I don't feel sick at all. It's nothing like that. I just feel out of touch with everything. Like, I'm not here.
Not present.
And I want to be present. I'm happy that we're recording today.
This moment is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
It's definitely a gift. There's no anger. There's nothing. It's just a weird, like, the heat really, usually I'm not bothered by it, and I'm not, like, to be a little bit warm is fine for me, but it's literally like sucking my energy. So once I got home yesterday, I was like out. All I wanted to do was take a nap. And then I got home, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do this. I didn't do shit.
You and I both went and
I
took
went
a nap.
to the kitchen and went to my bedroom.
you know what that the perfect word is for this? I think I feel like a dullard. Like you're dull.
Oh,
like dull senses, dull. Like you can't, like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'll slap you. Walk over here so I can hit you.
Dulled down, just like
it is. It's such a strange thing. Like in Vegas, I mean, no big deal. I sit down in my little car and burn the back of my thighs because it's hot, and
burn
like,
your shit on the seatbelt.
Not even put my AC on because it's so cold in the buildings that I wanted to warm up a little bit. So I'm driving in like a little freaking heat box. And here I am just my mentally wiped out. It's really what it is, like mentally and physically wiped out. But all is well. Everything is good. Things are happening. There's excitement to be had. There's all kinds of.
What are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about one of our listeners coming to join us. That's
What?
first thing.
We haven't heard anything about this. What
We
are you
have
talking
not.
about?
We have a special listener, and we'll talk about the name after she gets here because she will be on the show. We'll have a
She'll be joining us.
She'll be joining us on the show, but she is flying from Florida to Portland to stay with us, and we're gonna do a little girls camping trip and have some fun. And
Mel said I couldn't go.
I never said you couldn't go. I just really
It defeats
wasn't
the point
welcome.
of a girls camping
exactly
trip.
a girls
Oh.
camping trip. Well, first of all, I never do that. Second of all,
No, I'm kidding.
I'm so excited
totally
because
fine.
I feel like my
Quit
pen
crying.
pal is coming to. Are you guys gonna stop or what?
Yes, we'll stop.
Come on,
We'll quit it.
Come on. You gonna ask me what you want, and then you want to talk amongst yourselves.
No.
We're talking
Do
with
you hear everybody out here? Do you see what's going on around here? I'm sure you don't see it, but do you hear it?
Yes, they did.
you.
They definitely hear it.
It's fine. It's gonna be fun.
It's good. A good time was had by all. No, you know what,
Will be
man?
had.
She's flying across the country to come hang out. That's a huge deal.
I'm glad she didn't come this week from Florida because
Oh,
she would have
yeah.
been like, oh,
Yeah.
it's humid and hot.
No, that's not fun to come anywhere when it's 116 degrees. But yeah, she should be coming when the weather's better. And yeah,
What made you decide to go do a camping trip?
to have our own time together. And camping is fun in Oregon. We have a lot of beautiful. Because I was like, yeah, exactly. I mean, our house is great and all, but who cares? It's a house. Let's go visit. Let's go visit and explore. And like, because I was like trying to explain to her, because she was like, oh, what's some great spots? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been here 5 years and I still don't fucking know what good spots are because every weekend we're here recording. So we really sacrifice a lot of our adventure and explore time because we are literally here in the studio or on the porch every weekend. So that's one of the things I was like, oh, we'll do some day trips. And I was like, no, because then, you get started late and you don't feel like it. If you're already out, you're going to do something. But if you have to muster up the strength and have coffee and, I got to do my morning poop. And then by that time it's 10 o'clock and you ain't doing shit. So
that does happen every time.
I
We're going to get up and
know.
leave at 8. It's
Yeah,
like
no, you're
10:30
not.
when you're finally leaving.
So I just thought it would be super great to like be able to be alone and have some like talk to your friend and get to know her and have her get to know me, even though she knows a lot more about me than I know. But no, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be super fun. And
Is that weird to you? Like that part of it that like, I mean, we've had a lot of listeners come to the house and stay with
We
us.
have.
A lot. Actually.
yeah, we have more than a handful, which is
something
to be said.
And you've been the one on the show that has the most difficulty with being exposed out there.
Don't look at my goodies.
Yeah. But like, is that weird to you?
No, not specifically, not with her, because we are kind of like pen pals. We talk on the phone, we email back and forth, we DM, we share photos. So specifically with her, not so much, but I guess on occasion it can be, but it hasn't felt weird in a while because I feel like
You're getting used to it.
yeah, we've kind of gotten over
and
it a
she's
little
been
bit.
with us pretty much since the beginning.
Yeah, the
so
entire
it's not
show.
like just she's been
she's
communicating with you for a couple months.
No.
This has been
Years.
3+ years.
Yeah, and so like I guess it depends on the situation, but I truly have gotten used to that aspect of the show.
I mean,
And next time when I know you're going to hear this, next time when you come to see us, me and Doug want you to bring your husband because we're going to do a dude's camping trip.
Me and Doug?
me and Aaron. What are you talking about, man? You and Doug.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm behind the 8 ball. I don't know what you're talking
Me either. Okay, well, that just went somewhere else. But anyway, yes.
Okay, maybe I didn't know.
You just didn't say it right.
Yeah, you said it
You meant to say
incorrectly.
you and Aaron want to
Oh,
go on a
I
trip
want her
with
to bring
Doug.
Doug.
Okay, yeah, bring Doug. Okay, it's hot and it's getting hotter in here.
Hey, Carl, how's the weather?
So yeah, everybody
Open the door up.
everybody sees what's happening around here. We're here, but we're kind of not.
So
at
if
the
there
same
was
time.
a drawing of what's going on in here right now, the three of us would be podcasting and there would be puddles underneath us and we would all be
We're
kind of like
melting.
sideways and melting. That's
Yeah.
what, yeah. 30 years in the desert and 3 days of a little bit of heat and we're hurting for certain.
I've been sissified up here. I like the
Yeah,
cold.
you
I
have.
like the cold. I like the cold and the rain. That's why. I
But
wanted to
honestly,
be
if
here.
you walk down the stairs and go into the basement,
It's
it is
like a
like
meat
a
locker.
literal, like nothing's ever happened.
Yeah, my room's
there's-
like a meat locker.
It's amazing down there.
It's a winter wonderland
It
where
is.
Santa lives. Yes, it
Yes.
fucking is down there, man.
And it is like it's actually the South Pole because it's down. It's not the North Pole. I live in the South Pole of the Chapladet house.
Yeah, you do.
Oh man.
Wow.
I have to say, like,
What are you excited for? Because you asked me what I was excited for, and that was one of the many. 'Cause that's coming
I'm
up.
excited for her to come visit too.
Yeah?
That's
That's
part
the
of,
closest thing.
Yeah.
That's coming up.
That's why I mentioned it,
and
because
for the
it's
4th of July.
and
It's,
and Sid's gonna be 26 years old. Everybody out there, like this week specifically, I've had a few instances. Well, I mean, I know it's Monday, but I guess this is the end of my week. So, but like I've had people be like, "I thought you were 26." Blah blah blah. Like, it's a strange thing to think about my daughter turning 26 years old and having a grandbaby that's almost 3 years old, and Simon's going to be 19 coming up in August, and I don't feel old, like whatever that's supposed to mean. Like when people are like, I feel old. I don't feel like that. It's just like thinking about it is, I don't know what the word would be even. It's kind of like surreal. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't. I feel the same way.
I would think like you don't feel old enough. Like when
That's
people
it.
look at you,
Yes.
because
That's
that's
it.
what people say
Yes.
that don't know. They're like, you're not old enough to have a 26-year-old. And I mean, a reflection,
I get that
it
so
kind
much.
of be like,
Yeah, I don't get.
I don't
that.
feel old enough.
You're not a
to have a
grandma.
26-year-old.
Yeah. I feel like we're the same age. I feel like we're sisters. I don't feel like I'm the mom, because moms are like older and they've been through stuff and they accomplish stuff and whatever. And I'm like, what?
That's a weird perception of adults from a kid.
Yeah.
Is like that they have it all figured out and they know everything they're doing.
I don't know about figured out, but like they're just,
They're in control.
yeah, I don't know what it is.
I
in my
always
head.
felt like my parents had it on lock, and come to find out they did not.
No.
Even a little bit.
No.
But I always thought that
It's
as a
the
kid.
grand
like,
illusion.
yeah, no shit. And
Yeah,
that-
so it's like it's nostalgic and exciting, because every time around the baby's birthdays I get nostalgic, and especially Sydney's. That was like when I was a kid becoming a mom. That's a weird thing in itself. But then like I said, we're gonna have a visitor. The concerts start this month, like for us here. I
In
know
July.
I know they've already been happening back east and stuff, but like, so it's nostalgic because there's a lot of things that are coming up that we haven't had for a while.
Well, and also, I mean, obviously this already happened, but it's an exciting thing that happened. Is we had a couple of folks that we met at Northwest String Summit invite us out to their property here in Oregon. They've got like 25 acres out near Mount Hood, and it is the most beautiful patch of land I have been on in a very long time. Like, there's trees on this
Well,
land.
it was an arboretum.
Yeah, there's trees on this land that are from all over the world. So it's like Dr. Seuss land. And it's just like incredibly magical, sweet land. And these two are working really hard with just the two of them to turn this place into like a mini Hornings hideout,
Yeah.
to a concert venue. And so they invited Mel and I out there for the day just to go hang out, like have a picnic and talk and get to know each other. And it was super fucking fun, man. And it felt like we went camping.
It did feel
Driving
like
home.
that. So that's another cool. We were talking about, is it feel weird, people knowing you or whatever. So Tiff, I met Tiff with her daughter at Northwest String Summit. We were sitting, looking at the stage, and then next thing you know, I get a tap on the shoulder. We start talking, and then she reaches out, a few weeks ago, and we planned to meet them just this past weekend. And that was like meeting family.
Yep.
It was like, oh, we haven't seen each other in so long. How's it going? And just the sweetest people. Like, I felt leaving like, do I need to pinch myself in the sense like that was like perfect. It was like a perfect meeting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it was cool too. Cause like normally if I don't know, when we meet other couples, we're all hanging out together the whole time. And it wasn't like that. Like me and Ben went off and sat and had our own conversation while you guys did. And me and Tiff walked together for a little while and talked. Like we all got to know each other.
Yeah.
And it was really cool.
It was really great.
You guys, if you hear this, I really appreciate the invite out there. It was a really magical day.
And it all stemmed from Tiff listening to the universe, to that inner voice, you know. So just think about that. Whoever is listening to this that needs to hear that, like sometimes you just reach out, you don't know what's going to happen, and something amazing happens. She was like, the universe has been telling me to send an invite to you and the NSR crew to come out, and she did. We accepted. It was an amazing time, and I anticipate a huge future for us being just friends and helping them with their property and spending time on their property and them with us.
Yeah, Oregon is really been good to us.
Really great.
And I got to say, I'd be remiss not to thank you guys for inviting me too, as we just covered a few minutes ago. I am a wimp when it comes to the heat. I stayed home in the AC. Santa doesn't do heat well, but I look very forward to, I've met you at String Summit. I look very forward to
hanging out again,
being family.
Well, we have a Labor Day fun weekend planned, so that's going to be great.
So, talking about being excited for stuff, we have a bunch of shows coming up, and we also have a bunch of interviews that I've really been looking forward to. Like a couple of people that I've always wanted to, really always wanted to talk to. Skerrick is one of them. I think it's this weekend. We're talking to Skerrick, and on I think on the 10th, we're talking to Chris Pandolfi, and I'm really excited to talk to him. We met real briefly
at String Summit.
At the tweener stage at String Summit. Just introduced myself, just because we're Osiris comrades, and it's like said hi, but I haven't got a chance to sit down and talk to him. And Yonder Mountain String Band and the infamous String Dusters are our first show out of quarantine, so we're talking to Chris the week before our first show back with him. So he's ushering us back into the music scene. And
he's part of the network, which is a big deal. It's a cousin, it's a cousin, it's a brother.
Yeah. And, we're also, things are happening with I haven't been really talking about it, but we're making headway on the John Medeski, Jeff Firewalker Schmidt podcast. We're going to be meeting this week regarding everything that's going on with that. So that's in the works. And
happy birthday, John.
And happy birthday, John Medeski.
And happy belated birthday, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jeff's was on Father's Day this year, and John today. So happy birthday to those two. Amazing
human beings.
Yeah, that's perfect,
You
babe.
can't say
Amazing
that any other
human
way.
beings.
So that's exciting. And I was telling you the other day, like on the porch, I didn't let myself get excited for shows, really. When they started getting announced, I was happily buying tickets to them, no problem. And I would get excited for a moment, and then I would lock it back up. No, shit could still get canceled. You need to relax. And it was far enough out to where I didn't want to drive myself nuts being, looking forward to the future too much.
Yeah.
But it's close enough. It's getting close enough now to where it's like, I told Apple this morning, I feel like a fucking caged animal. Let's go. I'm ready to go now.
I always forget that you're the one who doesn't go out still. Right?
And when he said it this morning, he's out there pacing back and forth, and I was like literally like a caged animal. He was his few moments out of the cage. He's pacing in the front yard and said that to me, and I'm like, oh my God, dude. I was like, I guess I'm very thankful to be able to leave the house every day, go out, kind of have a work social life and stuff. That's
so what at this first show back, what is it's not Crater Lake. There's a place in Arizona where the meteor hit and it's a big crater.
Oh yeah, I don't know the name of it, but I've gone there before.
Right. So so picture that. That's what's going to be wherever I'm dancing at the first show. What's going to be left when I leave, that's what's going to be left when I'm done.
You have to cordon it off.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tourist attraction.
Yep. People are going to come from miles around
crater.
to see the energy that got blown out in this spot in 2021 on July 20th
I can't
at
wait to
Horning's
see it,
Hideout.
babe.
Yeah, it's about to go down. So that's my excitement. How about you, Apple? You excited about anything?
I'm excited about it getting cooler tomorrow. That's the first thing. It's going to start
That's
cooling.
even closer.
Yeah, it's going to start cooling down. It's real funny when your dad calls you from Las Vegas. He called me this morning. He did it the other day too, which I always mess with him because he loves Las Vegas. So do we. We grew up there and everything. But I always mess with it. He'll be like, "Oh my God, it's 106. Came take the dog for a walk." And I'm like, "Oh, it's 78 up here. It's rather balmy." So he calls me the other day and this morning. I answer and he's just like, ha, 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 like that. And I'm like, "Hey, Dad." I was like, "What's up?" "I'm at work." He's like, "I know you're at work." He's like, "I just had to rub it in. It's only 101 here." So we are hotter than Vegas, but I'm looking very forward to it cooling down, getting back to normal. Like I said, we are blessed to be where we're at in our house and everything. I work with a whole lot of people that have no AC, where their house has got up to 100 degrees or more in their house.
That's just not safe.
And a few of them pitched in to got hotel rooms with AC and stuff. I mean, it's brutal. It's bad for your health.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really nice. On top of that, I'm really looking forward to our visitor coming this weekend for the 4th of July, and that Wednesday, Oregon gets to quit wearing masks.
That's right.
Oh,
Wednesday.
I'm very excited about there.
Forgot about
We're
that.
waiting for Wednesday morning. We're taking down all our partitions and everything. We're not requiring masks anymore. Everything. It helps with the build up to like going to concerts, and like you were just saying, like we weren't letting ourselves get excited because it was hard to when everything else in society was like, no, 6 feet, you can't do it. And now things are opening back up. Me and Aaron went to Costco yesterday. We got there, we walk in. It was like 50-50, employees and patrons.
It does feel
wearing
good to
and
see
not
things
wearing
going
masks,
back to
and
normal.
everybody was being cool. There's a few people with masks that look kind of a little worried, but it felt like normal, and it's allowing like the wave of things coming to be more real. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I can put my little kid self out there, and Dad's going to pick me up to go to Disneyland, and he probably fucking is this time.
Your dad has
He's
to
not
work
gonna-
late again,
Yeah, he's
Jimmy.
not just driving on and, I can't do it again this weekend. So looking forward to the shows coming. I mean, July is the kickoff for everything.
Yeah, it is.
And then we're heading into like the rest of the year. We all, it's a joke around here. We probably said it a bunch of times on the podcast. We always joke the holidays are right around the corner.
I said they really are, Apple.
They're like poking. I mean, 4th of July is kind of the first big one that kicks off holidays. And then we also, what Mel was just saying, it's a trip to think that like you guys, the 4 of you in the Schaefer family, all your birthdays are coming up. Like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's always been like that.
Yeah, she's going to be 26, which is
26.
Simon's 19.
Yeah, 26.
It's going to be the
19.
last year of you guys having a teenager. 19. He's got 1 year left as a teen.
Oh, shit. I hadn't thought
Because
of
to
that.
me, like turning 18, you think you're an adult, but
you're
you're
not. No.
19.
Meh.
Once you hit 20, then that like teen cape, you got to take it off and get
That's
rid of
true.
it. And yeah, one last year as a teen.
You had a cape?
yeah,
I didn't get
you
a
don't
fucking
remember it?
cape. No,
I did. I
mine-
totally still
Yeah, I
have one.
totally had a teen cape. Yeah.
Fucking no cape. I
Yeah,
want- I
me and
want a
Mel are
refund.
turning them into Wonder Twin Power
That's
capes.
right.
So
Yeah, you
you'll
are.
see that sometime this festival season. Oh, but yeah, I'm just getting more excited about things. Like I've been last few intros on the show, I've been a little more down and dealing with medical things, mental things, just figuring things out, coming out of that, and it's just getting more positive and like stronger feelings, better feelings, kind of getting back to my appleness,
To your
my
center?
my CBD-ness,
You
my
found your
appleness,
CBD-ness?
my sheeness, my
Your cannabis.
winning,
Your tiger blood.
yeah, all that. So
So
yeah.
wait, would you
I'm
say
just
you're
excited for like everything now? My dad's talking about coming up and visiting again. My mom's talking about it. My mom usually came up, visited
Yeah.
like every year, and haven't seen her since 2019. So like, actually being able to see family, and as our family's getting older, don't know how many times
True.
you're going to get to do that. And I'm looking forward to seeing mom, dad.
So you're getting
Looking
closer
really
to
excited.
your apple seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that?
And I'm looking really, really, really forward to the October trip to Vegas.
Oh yeah, me
I'm
too.
looking forward to going back. And
What are you
seeing-
going there for?
Huh?
What are you going to Vegas for?
To get a carne asada burrito from Roberto's.
Oh, right
That's the
on.
only. I'm flying in for like a couple hours just to get a burrito that I met. Oh, and a capriati sandwich.
Oh,
that's it.
Non-spawns, but you send us coupons if you want. Oh,
What are you going there for? For
for
real?
fish.
Yeah, we are.
The fishies on Halloween.
That's so great.
Yeah, and to see family and friends. I'm going
Yes.
for like 6 days and then that's going to be so dope. Aaron got us a bitchin' Airbnb.
Well, it is an
Got an
Airbnb.
Airbnb. I guess it is an Airbnb in the towers right behind the MGM. We're like,
The score.
yeah.
It was a fucking
Yeah.
ground score.
What are we
Half.
going afterwards? We're going to see the
Pink Talking
Pink
Fish.
Talking Fish right around the corner. It's gonna be a
I'm
hoot.
seeing Everybody Orchestra. I'm so excited
Everyone
about
Orchestra
that. Yeah.
in Eugene.
Oh,
Late
yeah,
night with
after
Lost
the-
Ox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys,
There's a lot to be excited about.
I was DMing with Tim from Driving Tie-Dye the other day. And we were talking about, I think I just asked them if they were coming out to the gorge or something. And he was like, no, dude, there's so much going on back here right now. I don't know if we're going to make it out west, but, he was like asking me what we're up to. And I was like, yeah, so our quarantine ends on the 30th of June. Like Oregon is opening up. And he was like, holy shit, dude. I had no idea that you guys were still closed.
That means he hasn't been listening.
Like, yeah, Tim, what the
Damn it,
fuck,
Tim.
man?
Oh.
I had no idea you guys were still closed, man. Like, the perception around the country is so, like, I shouldn't say perception, the viewpoint. Everybody's viewpoint is so different.
Absolutely.
Because
and has been this whole
because
time.
our realities are all different right now.
Each state is a
is
different-
completely different.
yeah.
And so, yeah, man, like that's a real fucking thing. That happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts. So coming out of it is super exciting. And those of you that have already done it know what I'm talking about. And that anticipation and excitement. And like, I really feel like it's like legit being released from like confinement or prison, or you know what I mean? Like this is 10,000 steps down from the day you get released from prison. I can only imagine, but it's still comparable in the thought process of it. Like, okay, when I get out, I'm going to go get a beer and I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm going.
Yeah, we've been incarcerated and
So yeah, man, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I can't wait to see all of you beautiful people smiling and sweating and laughing and dancing and talking during the music and all of it.
And nothing for nothing to you. I love you guys. I love the little food carts at the festivals and stuff. I'm jonesing for a Dump City dumpling. If you guys are listening, I love you guys. Your little dumplings at the festivals are such. Oh.
I never had one the whole time. You had like a million of them.
I probably ate 20 something of them at String
I didn't have
Summit.
any either. Greg had some from Pigeons. We
Yeah.
Yeah, you helped him find the truck.
The coolest thing that I saw, it wasn't a food truck. It was like a gypsy wagon. Like literal gypsy
yeah.
wagon, and it was at Northwest String Summit. It was at Summer Meltdown, and I think I saw it somewhere else.
It was at Summer Meltdown?
Yeah,
Yeah, and they got the dude that does they're doing the poker and everything.
but it wasn't
and-
okay. Check this out. This was super cool. So it was
Barter.
gambling, but you could bring anything. So like you could bring a button or a crystal or an order of
Because
dumplings.
there was kids at
Yeah.
String Summit. There was
And it was
mostly
like
kids at
trading.
the table at one time. They were laughing, and the guy was all dressed up like in that era of
Yeah.
like a bartender, saloon owner, and that
It
was awesome.
super rad, and it was like getting everybody involved in trading with each other and playing a fun game.
Yeah.
And it was so cool.
That is very cool.
And to see late night that wagon with a bunch of wooks around it, swapping crystals and God knows what else.
And cracking, they were all. That was a lively booth.
Yeah.
like the whole time.
I'm excited to see all that. I can't.
All the
Shakedown.
shenanigans.
Oh my God. Like all the cool stuff that people have been making in anticipation for all this is going to be back out there. All the little Apple's going to be in fucking merch whore heaven. You better start saving money, man.
Be careful. I think I need to join a group
A support group.
ahead of time.
What would you call it? MHA, Merch Whores Anonymous.
I quit paying rent. I live on the street. I have
not
nowhere
whores
to.
with a W.
I have nowhere to hang my posters.
It was. It is.
It's
hot. I'm
WH.
melting. Everybody out there's like, "Hey, Aaron, you're stupid." No,
Or
man.
hose is an
Yeah,
H.
Your merch hose. All right, merch hose. Are you ready to get your high hawk on?
Well, we
Yeah.
got to do the business.
I
Real
know.
quick.
I know that.
We're just gonna skip over the business.
No,
sir?
no, because we have very important business this week.
Oh, okay.
First of all, if you dig No Simple Road and you want to help support us, the best financial way you can do that is to go to patreon.com/No Simple Road. And we have two, not one, but two new Patreon subscribers.
Two Patreon subscribers.
So I want to say first, a very special thank you to Daniel E., who signed up for $20 because he's
Daniel
dope.
E.
Daniel
Damn.
E.
Daniel, yo, man, thank you, brother. I mean, $1 is cool. 20 is fucking 20 times as cool. And you've got a collage coming your way from Mel. And you
This
have
is number 3.
our unbound, infinite love and appreciation. And I don't just say that like off the cuff, tongue in cheek. Like, for real, man, that means the fucking world to us. That you're willing to put down a fucking $20 bill once a month
That's special.
to hook us up, to make sure that we can keep doing this, man. It means the world to
Yeah.
Mel, Apple, and me. So thank you,
Seriously.
brother, from the bottom of my heart.
And
for
to the
real.
whole family because yeah.
Yeah. And
He's in the hallway looking at me right now.
it's like, fuck you, Apple. Also, an extra triple special thank you to Electro.
Woo woo.
Hey, man,
Electro.
I appreciate your friendship, brother. You and I have been DMing on Instagram for a long time now. And I hear you and I feel you, man. And I'm here for you. Thank you for being here for us.
Thanks
3
for
times.
putting ones and zeros in our account and listening to this show and for writing in, for being a friend to Aaron. We appreciate that. I appreciate that specifically. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you've been with us for a while,
Yeah,
dude.
you have.
It's been fun. Yeah,
been
have this
super
friendship
fun.
we have.
We do have a new.
I know.
You do know?
I do know.
You did know it?
I did know it.
We have
All
a
right.
what? A
But
new what? New?
check it out. Check it out.
Talk about it in a minute.
If you feel moved, if the spirit is moving you,
Hallelujah.
Woo!
and you want to move and help No Simple Road, go to
Help
Patreon.
the simple road move.
That's right. Go to patreon.com/No Simple Road and become part of the No Simple Road
Yeah.
Chan Donator clan. It's like
That's right.
It's like being in a secret society without the handshake. That's all I have to say about that. Also, if you want to do something for us that doesn't cost anything, you want to just like do us a solid and be cool, go on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review.
5-star.
5-star review. And then when you're done tapping the 5-star thing, leave a little review like who did it? Who done it? Who done it?
Grateful 2 left us a review, and their heading is Mr. Completely. Gosh, do I find your show a great way of spending my precious time.
Oh, wow.
The greatest thing I have is time, and I love listening to your show. Thanks for doing what you do. All things, I like the pace of your show. You guys aren't in a hurry to get anywhere, and I love that with the LOVE in caps. You guys think about anything and everything and can do that for an infinite amount of time.
It's true.
Thank
No
you.
hurry, and I like that. Life is short, so let's take our time, right?
Right.
I lived in Portland for 20 years, and I can appreciate the unique nature of the city. Thanks, guys. Love your show.
Love you, man.
Dude.
Woo-woo.
Thank you.
That is so
rad.
complimentary. That part, I mean,
Yeah.
that we can talk about anything and everything like infinitely because that's what we do.
Yeah, we do.
You know, even when the mics are off, it doesn't stop. This
No.
is how
No.
our household is.
Yeah, once we stop the mics and we just continue that same conversation even longer outside.
yeah.
It's true.
With moments of like in between.
Yeah, we get a couple
Little
sighs here and
couple
there.
sighs and
And
quiet.
I just got to say to you, dude, if you lived here for 20 years, you probably come
Or-
back
or-
and visit, and let us know if you're up here visiting. We can
Yeah.
Maybe a
hang
female.
out.
Maybe,
That's Sue,
maybe a
grateful too.
female.
That's true. Sorry, didn't mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Whoever
Keep it
you
together.
are grateful to, thank you for
Grateful
leaving that
to.
review.
If you want to be grateful too as well, like them, leave us a 5-star review because that's super cool and that helps other people find out about the show. And check this out. I don't talk about this enough. On the Apple Podcast app, there's a subscribe button for our show. Hit that thing.
Mash that
Sorry,
button.
I got
Hit it, tap it,
Mash it.
press it.
it doesn't look, here's the reason I tell you to do that. It's because when you do that, you get a notification when we put up a new episode. So like when Scarrick comes out or High Hawks or Chris Pandolfi or
and sometimes we do 2 shows in 1 week. So you'll be
Two.
on Monday, you'll be like, oh, a new show. And then Friday, like, whoa, a new show.
yeah. So subscribe to the show. And also last but not least, well, no, I got 2 more things. Now that shows are back, I was doing this last 2 summers ago, and a bunch of you took me up on this. If you want to help out and be part of the street team
Oh,
at an
yeah.
upcoming show, send me an email at info@nosimpleroad.com. Send me your address.
Holy shit.
If you're in the United States, send me your address, and I will mail you some flyers, and you can be part of the No Simple Road street team and hand those flyers out at your next show, and I will send you a little gift.
That's
for
dope.
your
I
time.
almost forgot about that because it's been a year and a half.
Yeah, I forgot about it too.
It was starting to get going strong too. Everybody
And
out
our
there
Florida
was
friend has
fucking
done
hooking
that.
it up.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
Florida friend has done that quite sometimes for us.
Yeah, she's rad. She's
Yes.
and she's sneaky as fuck too.
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah,
She's
hiding them in rain ponchos and shit. Yeah, it's dope.
She is sneaky.
I appreciate anybody that's sneaky like that, especially
about-
sneaky for us.
Here,
Yeah.
let me try it. See if I can remember. And then we have the tepid line.
Ooh.
It's 1-971-808-1524.
What the
I
fuck?
got it. I'm not the best now. I'm great at names, but not at numbers. So call the tepid line. It is 1-971-808-1524. And you can call that is the line. We say you do whatever you want. Call in. We love getting those because if anybody's familiar with those, first you see it in like Google, like not translated yet. It's like the dictating text message, and it just says all the wrong shit. And it's usually funny
fucking
as
hilarious.
hell.
That's how we got Chad Donator.
We see that first, and then we listen to the actual recording, and it's always funny and fun. But recipes, trip report, that's pretty soon. Everybody on the East Coast and down south, you're going to shows now.
How dare you
Give
haven't
us some
called
trip
in.
report.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have not got to go to a show. You guys have. We've seen the fucking pictures. Call and give us a trip report
And
or
it's,
a
cool to,
festival
it's
report.
cool to hear the voices too,
Right?
of the listeners. So maybe you've written in or whatever, you've already corresponded. Let's hear your awesome voice.
I know.
Call us in the middle of a show. When you're in that middle of the show and you're like, I'm so high, I can't work my phone. Dial that number, please.
Yeah, lock it into your contacts and put it on your home screen before you leave for the concert. And then at set
Sorry,
break,
guys.
call us and just babble
Gesundheit.
insanity.
Yes,
and we'll play it
we'll
on
love
the show.
it.
So, but seriously, I've seen several of the No Simple Road family at J-Rad, Billy Strings, Widespread Panic,
Lots.
all of it. Not one of y'all's called in 971
Dang, not one.
Damn, that's fucked up. That's all I
challenge.
gotta say.
Sounds like a challenge
Those shows
now.
must have been bunk
Yep,
then.
I just threw down the
Those
gauntlet.
shows
I
are
bet
probably
those
not
shows-
worth
I mean,
anything.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
watching some of the shows live yet, but I guess I did more than being there. No.
Anyway, just
Ha,
kidding.
ha, ha.
Give us a holler, man. That would be cool to hear from
Holla at your
y'all.
boy. Holla at your girl.
We love you guys, man. I'm really excited that we're heading back into more normal physical space.
And thanks for saying that again. I can't get over that. The pace of the show.
Yeah, we do take our
Grateful
fucking time.
too. Thank you so much for saying that.
51 minutes to get to the
Well, you want to
interview.
know what's cool is that I always like being from a rushing around family. Like the fact that that's noticed is really something special.
I
So
love
thank you.
the rushing around. I just got one of my favorite scenes of Melanie's mom says, "Can we hurry up and go so we can get back?"
Hurry up and go.
Hurry
so
up
we
and
can hurry up
go
and
so
come
we can
back.
hurry up and
Yeah.
come back. And that's about pretty much anything.
Well, we're going to hurry up and go so we can hurry up and get to the interview. So
Yeah.
we love you guys.
We love you.
Thank you for all that you do for us.
Yeah. Thanks for signing up on Patreon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for recommending us to your friends. Thanks for leaving reviews. Thanks for showing up week after week.
Go
We
buy
love
yourself
you.
a copy of the High Hawks new album.
Yeah.
And listen to this interview with Chad because he's a dope human being and part of our family now. So without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you Chad Staehly from
The High Hawks.
Coming down the mountain, singing a mountain song, resting in the valley, won't be for long. Sitting by the fire, letting in the light, gather here together, feel our souls unite. Singing a mountain song, gonna sing it all night long. Soaring like a high hawk across this mountain top, grounded by an arrow, there's nothing we can stop. Getting up together, so that brings us light. Living in this moment, nothing else inside. Singing a mountain song, gonna sing it all night long. Lightning then the thunder, little rain will fall, wash away the darkness, breaking down the wall. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. 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 Singing a mountain song, gonna sing it all night long. Singing a mountain song, gonna sing it all night long.
Chad, I'm Aaron. How you doing, man?
Hey.
Good to meet you, brother.
And then
Yeah,
I'm
good. you guys?
I'm Apple, and we're missing the third wheel. His wife Melanie is off in L.A. visiting her grandson and daughter and son-in-law.
She's on a horse right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
She couldn't be here
Sounds
with us.
good. Well, good to meet Aaron and Apple.
You too, man.
Thanks for taking the time to talk.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, dude. You too. You're a busy man.
Where are you at, Chad?
Yeah, I gotta start learning how to say no.
No, you don't.
No.
We like all of it, man. Keep doing it. Where are you at in the country?
I'm currently living in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I lived on the Front Range of Colorado for 25 years, and then about 4 years ago moved here to La Crosse, Wisconsin to help start a distillery.
We just
I
Apple
saw
just
that
showed
this
me.
morning. I kind of do like some research and stuff, and that was something new I just discovered this morning. I mean, of course, we've listened to you in many configurations over the years, but that was new. I was like, wait, and that sounds dope. Like, I mean, the bottling and everything, it's just like old fashioned. Like, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool, right on. Well, I'm glad you discovered that. Yeah, I thought I would insulate music business with beverages, and then a pandemic. That was like the two worst things to be in last year.
Life is filled with great decisions, isn't it? It's awesome.
Yeah,
Chad,
been a trip.
for all the people that are listening that don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself to them?
Sure. Hey, Chad Staehly here, keyboard player and one of the songwriters in the High Hawks. That's kind of the current main ride I'm on. Also playing a band called Great American Taxi, and have been in a band called Hardworking Americans.
Yeah, you have.
I manage some artists for a company called Gold Mountain Entertainment. We manage Todd Snyder and the Band of Heathens, and Ronnie Millsap, and Chicago Farmer, a songwriter named Reed Fail, a bunch of great artists. And then also help run a record label called Low High Records, and this new High Hawks album is out on Low High Records.
Congrats on the release of the album, man.
Thanks so much.
It's so fucking great. It's so good.
Yeah, this is
so good.
This was very timely because it just came out yesterday, and that's I usually like last night. After a long week work, I come home, have some cocktails out on the patio, and do some research and listen. So it was great taking it in last night.
Right on. Yeah. It was a lot of work getting up to yesterday, and still a lot of work to do, but we're really excited so far with how the album's been received, and it's getting a lot of radio airplay across the country and been getting some pretty good reviews. So we're excited about what's ahead with this new project.
So, Chad, that's a thing, like radio airplay for Americana jam music is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like where is that played? I had no idea.
Yeah. So, a lot of it happens on independent and community radio and NPR affiliates, but also a lot of AAA non-com stations are crossing over into Americana, just because that genre has really kind of come to the forefront. I think like artists like Jason Isbell and, Todd Snyder himself, a lot of these leaders in our scene have like, their music is reaching more people. So there's like 130 stations across the country that are Americana reporters.
Oh, wow.
And then there's like an additional 70. There's close to 200 stations that play this format of Americana music, for lack of a better term.
That's a trip. I had no idea. I mean, like here, we live in Portland, Oregon, and like here we have a couple of independent radio stations that occasionally play stuff. But as far as the music business goes, I didn't think that was still a viable stream to get music out to people. I thought it was all like social media and word of mouth at this point, and the internet.
Yeah, and Spotify too, right? Yeah. But I mean, no, it's a living, breathing thing. The Americana Music Association, Americana.org, they have an Americana chart that started. They didn't start it. They kind of picked it up and took it over, but it started about 20 years ago now, I want to say. Rob Bleetstein was behind that. Okay. Rob's been a publicist and worked with David Grisman and a bunch of other great acts. Rob was at the forefront of that, of helping start that chart and that format. And it's tracked. There's now a singles chart and an album format. Most of those stations go by an album format, and the program directors kind of choose what they want off of these albums. But yeah, it's really cool, and it's been a big boost to our scene. And then some of the XM stations too, Sirius XM Outlaw Country. Jeremy Tepper runs that station there, and they play a ton of Americana in addition to like the outlaw country and independent country stuff. So
that's rad. Like I've been into the Dead scene since '89, and bluegrass was always like on the periphery of my world. And not until moving up here did I really like, I hate doing this, but get it, you know, like it never really clicked until we went to Northwest String Summit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Okay. This is fucking awesome. I want all of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like Deadlot. Those bluegrass festivals were the closest thing I found to going to a Grateful Dead show and being on the lot, hanging with all those good people, you know?
Yeah, man.
I'm about the same. 87 or 88 was when I got into the Grateful Dead, and that was all she wrote. You know, when I was in college, people would go to Mexico and Florida for spring break. I'd go on Dead tour.
Yeah. I didn't bother going to college. I just I went to my first show, went home after that show and sold everything and bought a bus and went on the road. I was like, fuck everything else. I'm done. What was your
Absolutely,
first?
Man. That taste of freedom, I don't know what it is.
Dude.
That, you know, that's what bit me when I got out there. I mean, I love the music, but when I got out there and like saw these people living this life out on the road and selling grilled cheese or bags of weed or whatever to like get to the next show, and it was like, really? That's what these people are doing? They don't have jobs, really? They just get to hang out with all these great people and see awesome music every night? I want to do this. You know?
Yeah. And so going from that to being a touring musician, what was the start of you playing?
Well, I was a kid, you know, I went to a little Lutheran grade school, and they pushed music really big in terms of like singing hymns, and we had to learn to play recorder in like fourth grade already and read notes and stuff. And then my dad bought us a piano. I was probably like 10 or 11 or something, and he bought a piano and, you know, forced us to take lessons and said, "You'll thank me someday." I don't think he knew what can of worms he was opening. But then by like 16, I started trying to pick up the guitar a little bit too, and I actually started to play an open mic, and kind of ended up our band, this band we had, Sunnyview Road, would kind of host this open mic in this bar. We were all 16 or 17. I don't know how they were allowing us in there to do that, but we did, and we did it religiously for many Tuesday nights, and then got to college out in Fort Collins, Colorado, and started putting bands together and playing house parties and playing bars for $5 cover charges. And then that kind of fizzled a little bit. And then Garcia passed away. Mm-hmm. And it was like, well, now what am I going to do? I should start playing music again. And then bumped into the Leftover Salmon guys. A friend of mine, Johnny Farr, was tour managing Leftover Salmon in the late 90s. And it got introduced to those guys, and they were super inspiring, like what they were doing. Like I'd only gone to big giant concerts previous, you know, and then to see this band who was, you know, selling anywhere from a few hundred tickets to 1,000 tickets and cruising around the country and playing this great like mashup of American styles of music. It was really inspiring to me. And I started working for them, actually taking care of their archive and all their live shows, etc. Got to know the band. And then when that band started to slow down, Vince Herman and myself were starting to play some music together. And then a couple of years after Salmon stopped, we started that band called Great American Taxi and spent about 10 years on the road together doing that. And that was kind of when I started to really do it professionally and do the laps around the country. And, you know, we were at one point probably doing 150 shows a year plus all the travel. And that's where I kind of cut my teeth, so to speak, I'd say.
Vince is a fucking force of nature.
Yes. Yeah, he is a presence.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That guy has one speed, and it is pedal to the metal. He's still rocking, man. I mean, he did a week of Leftover Salmon tour, and we picked up, he met us for the High Hawks tour last week, jumped right into that, and and did another week with us. And then he was going back to Nashville for a couple of days. Then he was headed to Montana with Sam. And I mean, the guy he just doesn't stop, you know.
Does it feel weird, man? Like, sorry, Apple. Does it feel weird to you? Like, in all the press that I've read about you guys, they're calling High Hawks a supergroup.
Yeah.
Does that feel weird when that's you that they're talking about? Like that, having that kind of label put on the thing, does that put pressure on you?
I mean, sure, but it's a goofy term, and like
Right.
they were doing that to us in with hardworking Americans
Yeah, totally.
too, and like it's like, man, we're a band. We just want to be a band, like and really with the High Hawks, I would say really this whole project came together. We had all been threatening each other for years backstage at music festivals and running into each other at shows that we were going to do a band together. And so I like to say we're super buds or super friends.
Super friends.
That's what
Yeah, I like that. That works.
all about.
Go for it, Apple.
Oh, I was just gonna when we were talking about Vince, I also watched last night and like the entirety of the show you guys did. I think it was February this year in Boulder.
Oh, that was actually our first show, Apple. So that was
Okay.
End of October 2019.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that goes back a little. Okay, just the energy
and that was
in that.
the very first show. And there's a video of the whole thing. Go figure, It's like,
Oh, yeah.
talk about without a net.
Yeah, it was a great show, and then you add Tim into the mix with that fiddle, and I mean, it's just amazing. And I love to like watching that. I got to see, the everybody kind of takes turns. Vince is up there front, but everybody kind of takes turns singing. There's different stuff going on, and Tim switching instruments, and there's a lot going on, and it's amazing to watch that show.
It's a big gumbo, and there's a lot of powerful characters and personalities in that band, but it's really cool because we're just all buds and all have just massive amounts of respect for one another, and it really works. That chemistry we have as friends really translated to everything we're doing with this band, and it's fun. I mean, there's if you want, you can crack open a beer and sit back, and the rest of the band can keep the car on the
road. That's lucky to find that, because I mean, we've talked to a lot of musicians that, like, I get the sense that there's pressure on them to keep the car on the road, so to speak. Like you said, they get up there and they're the guy that's got to kind of keep it going, and to find a group of guys to play with that you can kind of just like trust fall into the music with them. That's kick ass. It's a really cool thing too, man, that like that energy comes through in the music itself, because we feel like that when we're listening.
I totally agree. And that's really what's driven this whole thing. It's like, we just wanted to do some shows together, and we didn't discuss what this, like, oh, we're going to try to be like this, or we're going to try to sound like this. We all kind of knew that we were right. Like the 4 people in the band that write songs, we were all mentioning, I'm trying to write a few songs for this. Let's see what happens, and et cetera. But we all showed up at Vince's house in Colorado before that Boulder show, like 2-3 days before. And we started slinging these songs around that each of us had written. And like immediately, for one, Vince and Adam wanted to play electric guitars, which I thought was really cool. Like in a project like this, it's like everybody should try something new if they want. It's not your regular day job, try to be something else. So those guys were playing electrics, which started to define the sound a little bit. And then these songs, like by halfway through the first day, the light bulbs were going off. Like, wow, there's something synergistically and cosmically happening here between this material, between the lyrics, between the sound that was developing within a few hours. It was like, it just became a living, breathing thing right away, and was really connecting on a lot of levels. And by the end of the first day, it was like, well, obviously we're going to have to make a record with all these songs, So it was right away, the light bulbs went off.
So that show from October, you guys only played together for the first time 3 or 4 days before you went on stage.
I think it was 2 days, Apple.
Holy
crap,
2 days
of rehearsal at Vince's, and all new original material. we were cramming. It was like finals, you know. It was like,
Wow.
we had to get our act together really quickly.
So I was watching a post you guys did on Instagram, and I think it's the video for, is it called the Mountain Song? Is that?
Yeah, there's singing a mountain song. There's a video that's got a lot of photographs and shots and stuff from shows. Yeah.
So at least to me, man, like the photographs that were chosen to go with that really underscore and illustrate the lyrics of that particular song.
Cool.
And to me, what I saw was there's a really heavy spiritual thing going on with you guys. There's something really pure going through that music, and the things that you guys did to get those pictures are not, you know, it wasn't you guys in a recording studio the whole time. It was around a fire and like in a canyon and, you know, that kind of stuff. And is that part of the process for you all the time, Chad? Is that your bag, or was this special for High Hawks?
No, I think all of us approach music like that. It's a very spiritual group of guys, you know. They all, you know, we all laugh. We're all lifers, you know. I wrote so singing a mountain song, really part of that song was a little bit of an homage to Jeff Austin, you know, who we lost from Yonder Mountain String Band. And you know, I saw Vince mentor those Yonder Mountain String Band guys. Yonder Mountain was starting up around 99, right when Vince and I started to become really good friends. I actually met Jeff Austin at Vince's 40th birthday party in, like, I think it was 2000 or something. And seeing that whole scene, that whole community in Colorado, you know, that community of players and bands we have there, it's a really special thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of was trying to speak to that in that song. You know, that the kind of ethos of we're all in this together. And when you get a band to buy in to doing that and can develop that trust and know that you're supported up there on stage by this group of guys, that I feel like that's really when liftoff can happen and really magical stuff can start to happen. And you get the audience included in that too. And then, boy, it's like the sky's the limit, you know, the space is the limit.
Yeah. Well, when that comes together, that synergy, I guess, is what it is. Something bigger than the sum of the parts starts happening, and we start having a really different experience than just being at a show, you know. And
absolutely,
it's the glue that's kept me running back for 30 plus years, and you know, COVID really gave me a gut punch, you know, where all this is concerned. It fucked me up, man. Like,
yep.
I mean, I realized how important it was, and I knew that, like, that was my church. I knew that was my spot. But the depth that I, like, grieved over the loss of being able to be with the community and you guys was really fucking hard, man. And I'm curious for you, how did you weather the storm, man?
Everyone was feeling that, you know. And at first it was just like everyone, no matter what line of work you're in, I think we all, you know, had kind of like frozen time there for a month or two. Like, what is going on? Like, this was, of all the shit I've worried about in my life, a worldwide pandemic was never on the bingo.
That was not on the list. No. Fuck.
So it took a couple months, you know. We had done this record in like 2 sessions in Denver, one 5-day session, then another 2-day session to just wrap everything up. And that 2-day session was right at the end of February, like literally a week or two before everything hit pause. And so we were like still working on mixing the record and doing some of that stuff in those early days. And then for me personally, I was lucky enough to, after testing started to become widely available, etc., because I produced some albums too, so I got asked to go do a couple records and produce a couple albums. So that was really like a great, at least creative outlet, and still being able to get together with some musicians and like create and make music and have that camaraderie. But it's been tough on everybody, and the musicians, the bands, they feel the same exact way you guys do. Everybody's had a big old chunk of their hearts missing, and it was rough, man. I mean, talk about not normally being a depressed person, but that whole thing, like I've talked to so many people who just slipped into a depression because they didn't have their mojo anymore. It kind of had evaporated.
Yeah. We were really fucking fortunate here, man. Like
we didn't know what we were gonna do. It was like we're a live music podcast. We were just starting to
blow up.
We were scheduled to go all kinds of festivals and everything like that. Then it's taken away, and like Aaron, we call him our conductor because he does all the technical stuff and everything. We're like, what the hell are we gonna do? Yeah. And then it slowly turned into something pretty incredible, because then we got a chance to talk to artists that were at home instead of being on the road. It was always like, where are you at? I don't know. We're somewhere between Philly and fucking, I don't know. I don't know. It's craziness out here on the road, and would be tired. And then we got them at home. Like the one that really sticks out is talking to Dave Schools from home. And he was so excited for the first time in years to be home when the peach tree fruited. And he was like, my wife didn't have to save me, and I actually got to pull a peach off my tree because I wasn't on the road for the first time, and he could remember. So we got to get to like you now, you're like sitting at home. We got artists not on the road, and everybody like that depression. We all kind of went inside of ourselves and had to search, and that ended up being a good thing too. That was like therapy. We all took care of our homes. We took care of ourselves. It lasted a lot longer than anybody thought it was going to. All these little we kind of compared it to like that
bad acid trip,
and like that, like being in like almost junior high. Like you were looking forward to something. We got so used to disappointment, we quit planning on things. We knew things weren't going to happen, and quit getting our hopes up. But now we've made it through, and like this, you guys released this album. It's opening up around the country. Live music's coming back. We're scheduled to go. Our first shows are going to be at Horning's Hideout. There's not going to be the String Summit, but we're going to see Yonder, and we're going to see Green Sky Bluegrass. It's like a welcome, like a total
welcome home.
Total welcome home.
After reunion,
Yeah.
So,
dude.
Absolutely. It's healing. The Highhawks just played 5 shows last week, and man, it was like just everybody was bursting at the seams with energy. It was awesome. All the shows were sold out, and people were just, it was an all-time high. It was great. It was, in some ways, it was like, well, this was kind of worth the wait. Here's the big payoff. So it felt really good.
It's a trip too, because like a big part of our journey has been psychedelic exploration during all of this, and like even that kind of got put on hold during quarantine. We took a couple of journeys, but for the most part, not so much. It was very strange, and like the feeling that I got towards the end of it was like, look, man, you see how important this thing is. You need to approach this differently. When you go back, you need to look at this thing for what it is instead of what you want it to be. And
absolutely.
Yeah. And
absolutely
going with an intention to like, I don't know, man, bring some kind of medicine to the community, because we fucking need it, dude. It's tough.
Yeah. I think this virus thing, this pandemic, it's been a really big part of I almost want to say like a great awakening that's happening. I think people will look back at this time period and where we evolved to from this consciously. I think I think it's going to be a big marker in the timeline of human existence. You know, I think we're all going to be better for this in the end.
I got to agree
in
with
a lot
you.
of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we said kind of like it's like a renaissance coming out of this,
Mhm.
like a rebirth,
Yep.
renaissance. Everybody's got their shit together, and we know who we are. Home's in order. Time to
Yep.
get back to love, kindness, and making the world an awesome place.
Yep, and take care of the planet too. You
Yes.
know, I feel like we're already making strides, bigger strides in this past year or so towards responsibility and sustainability of Mother Earth. You know, that it seems to have accelerated recently, and I think that's great because we're running out of time. You know, so it's time to fix this and get the train back on the tracks to doing right by this big ball we spin around on.
Yeah, I think for me, like the biggest message that I've taken away where that's concerned is like, I always looked at myself as like part of the planet. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think that I was separate, but I'm like a person on the planet. And recently, man, I've started seeing things a little differently. Like it's all the same fucking thing. It's all one thing. I am not separate from any of it. It's all moving around me. It's like being in a swimming pool or in the ocean. You're fucking in it, buddy, and you're part of it. And
we're all tied together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's kind of like mycelium, you know. It's all networked together.
yeah, totally. And the musicians part in that is huge, dude. Like what you guys bring is, and I'm talking about you specifically, you guys, is this rootsy vibe of happiness. And like, it's really special, dude. And I love the fact that lyrically it's not too on the nose, but if you're paying attention, you catch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was, you know, at first when we were putting the High Hawks together, we had a couple conversations like, no one in the music business is actually taking a stand and really like speaking to things that need to be spoken to, like, you know, like the bands of the 60s used to do. Someone needs to do that, you know. But then too, like while we were having those conversations, and then like that song Bad Bad Man on the album that Vince wrote, like that's probably the most literal, straight ahead addressing it. But then it was like, you know what though, it's like things are so divided and we need to be part of a solution and bringing people together. So let's address some of this stuff, but then let's also bring a message of unity and a message of we're all in this together, and that it's going to take all of us to fix this, you know? And so that's kind of where things started to head. And we actually have had conscious, literal conversations about that when we're performing too, of just like, let's bring people together and offer some hope too. You know, I think that's important as performers and entertainers, like bring that to the table too, and offer people that's a way we can all come together, you know?
And I think too, that's part of that awakening that you're talking about is, I mean, not that wasn't a thing prior to all of this, that artists and musicians and stuff weren't thinking of that in their forefront of their consciousness, but I think it's a little more towards the front of the room, if you know what I'm saying. Like that thing has gotten moved up on the board. Like, oh shit, we could actually fuck this all up irreparably. So we need to fucking fix things in our way. And I've been paying attention to you for a while, man. Like Hardworking Americans are a very special band for me. Like that's like my, I listen to them when I'm by myself. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's my shit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some very personal stuff in that music from Todd's heart, you know, but also there was a reason for that band to come together too. I think just really everybody in that band at that point when it came together, we were all a little fractured and looking for something else and looking for something that we all needed. And we found medicine in that. And that was another situation where it's like, and not even all of us knew each other when we showed up at the studio at Bob Weir's TRI studio there the first day. But immediately, like, it was like, whoa, you know, like the hair on everybody's arms was standing straight up, and it was big goosebumps, and like, whoa, there's an energy and a power here from all of us being together there. And then after conversations, and once we started touring together and we really got to know each other intimately, it was like, oh wow, we're all kind of coming from the same place here, and we all needed this band.
So does it, I mean, I guess it's true with everybody, but for you guys, have you found that that's the norm for you? Like when you're putting a band together, or you're producing an album, or you're, you know, writing music or whatever, that's the thing that ends up being the thing that you needed for that moment?
Yeah, I think that's why, like, in the jam scene, these people are there, because it's like all about just be here now, you know, and like let it flow through, you know, and just be kind of a conduit and a conductor to this energy that's and these things that are out there in the universe, and try to capture it and focus it down a certain path, you know, to reach other people, or just to bring, I think it starts with doing it for ourselves, you know. It's therapy. We all need it first and foremost, and if the right intentions behind it, then I think people can latch onto that and relate to it, you know. It's like, it's not forced, it's totally organic, and that's, for me, is always a key word in anything I'm doing musically, or really anything in life. I like to just follow wherever the universe is tugging me, and whatever organically seems to be bubbling up, just latch onto that and ride it as far as it'll go, you know.
Well, that's what's so exciting about that, like like the High Hawks, all the groups you've been in, going to like festivals where, you know, like a dozen or more of your favorite bands are going to be, you don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what, the artists don't know what's going to happen. It's like walking into a mystery school. Like I know all these cats that I love listening to are here. You don't know who's going to join who on stage, what's going to happen. And to me, that carries on like what the Grateful Dead started. Like I remember being one of those people before we were into the day. It's like, how can you listen to the same band over and over? Why are you collecting bootlegs? It's the same song. And it's like, no, once you get it, it's like, it's never the same. It's completely organic. The band, the listener, nobody knows where it's going. And that is so special in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like someone like Vince Herman too, being on the road with him for many, many years now, like he'd religiously, like as we'd roll into a town, grab the local newspaper, you know, read about what was happening in town, and a lot of times end up tying something in that he read in that paper that day, you know, into the night, and make everything as relatable and connected as possible. And that, a lot of magic into what you were saying, Apple, like those festivals where you get your friends to sit in, and sometimes the sit in doesn't go great, but like when you catch lightning in a bottle and you get that right sit in, like Tim Carbone sits in with your band and actually sets the place on fire with a 10-minute, you know, hair raising, grab you by the scruff of your neck fiddle solo. Like that's the stuff that's just like where time starts to stand still too, you know, and just being in that moment, it's pure magic.
I had never seen Railroad Earth, and I think it was New Year's 2018 going into 19. They played at the Roseland here in Portland, and I didn't know what to expect. Like, I just went, and I left that show with my jaw on the fucking floor, man. I was like, I have seen a lot of heavy psychedelic shit go down in my life. That was one of the trippiest, coolest things I have ever seen, was that man jamming on that fiddle that night. Like, that's a huge powerhouse.
Yeah, Tim is a very spiritual dude. Like he ended up it's really interesting because I hear it all the time in his playing. I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 25 years ago or something like that. He had randomly been asked to go with this band that he hadn't played with or anything. I think they were friends of his, or one of the people in the band were a friend of his, and they invited him to come to India with them. And he went on this tour for like a month in India with this band.
Oh, wow.
And you know, because I've always heard this Eastern kind of sound in Tim's fiddle at points, and like he'll get into these kind of like raga places too with his fiddle. It's like it's meditational, you know. And I asked him one time after he was telling me that story and how that all happened. I'm like, well, then did you study Indian music, you know, after you had that experience, etc.? He's like, no, man. He's like, just from spending that month there, which was like a life-changing trip, I believe, for him, that just seeped into him. And, you know, there's notes and modes and things he plays that is so Eastern Hemisphere and like Indian at its core. And it just by osmosis and him being open to everything, it just seeped in, and he pushes it out now, you know?
Wow. I mean, that speaks to the power of the raga and all that, like that, for it to just attach to your DNA, like you're over there and it's just like, oh, I'm hitching a ride with this cat. You know, that's fucking cool, man. And
it's powerful. Yeah.
You know, talking about being a conduit for that thing and riding that wave when it happens, that's not something that you just wake up one morning, you roll out of bed and you're like, okay, I'm doing this thing now. Like, we've all had somebody that like either showed us the ropes and taught us the rules of the road, kind of took us under their wing. Was there somebody like that for you that kind of mentored you in that vein?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, you know, I think a lot of it just came from going to the Grateful Dead school, you know, and going to a ton of those shows and listening to just endless hours of that band and reading about that band. I mean, I've probably read every biography, every interview, you know, like I can't get enough of like hearing Bob Weir or Garcia or Mickey Hart or any of those guys speak to, you know, their methodologies and their philosophy and their worldview and how they approach music. That was a big part of it. And then, like I said, when I met Leftover Salmon, that was a big inspiring thing. And I was actually closer friends with Mark Van, the banjo player who we lost way too early.
Yeah.
He was a big influence. And then Vince, and I really learned how to like be out on the road and be an entertainer and be in a band and do that whole thing by hanging out with Vince and hitting the road with Vince. He was a big part of that, you know? And then a handful of years later, it's just unbelievable because never in my life, as much as I knew probably since age 13 that I wanted to play music, never in my life would I have ever dreamed up being on stage with any of those guys in the Grateful Dead. And at this point, I've been blessed to have played with Billy Kreutzmann a few times. I've played with Bob Weir, played with Vince Welnick a couple shows where we opened for him and he played with us. So it's you know, it's just surreal, really.
Yeah, no, and
to be here and have those experiences.
I wonder, like, from your perspective, so you were a Dead fan first and then playing with them, you know, and you get on the stage with those cats.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
You've been on stage hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times before that, but then it's that day, away apart from the nerves underneath that. Is it a different thing happening when you're
absolutely.
Okay, you get where I'm coming
Absolutely.
from, right? Okay.
And the Grateful, I mean, and I've gotten to play with like dudes from Little Feat and other just, you know, the greatest of the greats. But I'll tell you what, and Phil Lesh, I got to play one night at Lock-In with him. We had Phil and Dave Schools and Mike Gordon. It was based summer. We're all playing with Hardworking Americans for this little VIP late night thing. But all the Dead guys, there is a different level, and rhythmically with Billy, there was a totally different level. I would say with Richie Hayward, though, we got to play with Richie Hayward, the drummer from Little Feat, a couple times, and it was a similar experience. But then Bobby Weir and Phil Lesh, harmonically and musically, what those guys did, and the experience I had, the little bit I've had to be able to play with them, it was unlike anything else I've ever done, and really, like, I felt like I had a lot more to learn after being on stage with those guys, because they were doing things musically and harmonically and building things in a way that I hadn't ever really been a part of yet. So it was like, oh, there's a long way to go here yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about the glue that's been cemented between them, just by the sheer number of hours playing together. Not to mention all the trips they took in the early days, like just going as far out as you could possibly go and still maintaining a semblance of cohesiveness in the music. Mm-hmm. And just like the Ragas coming home with Tim, like they brought psychedelic space back with them through the music, and it kind of fused into them. So it makes sense that would, I always wondered that, like getting on stage with Bobby or Phil, it's got to be like standing there with a lightning rod.
They've developed their own language, and they all learned to play together too. So they developed this language together. It's a Grateful Dead language, it's familiar, but it's also their own thing. It's a very unique thing that they all do, and what they do together, it was interesting after, I can't remember if it was after that, Fare Thee Well shows, and then Dead and Company was starting, or if it was like, I can't remember how it all clicked, but one of those side bands kicked up, and one of them, Further didn't have the Rhythm Devils, right? Mm-hmm. And Dead and Company, and then also the Fare Thee Well shows had the Rhythm Devils, had Billy and Mickey, and one night I sat there and listened to a Scarlet Begonias that Further had done, and then had listened to a Scarlet Begonias that I think it was at Fare Thee Well, and then also listened to one from Dead and Company, right? And trying to figure out what's the biggest part of that formula to really make it feel like Grateful Dead music. And honestly, I ended up in a place with it that it was Billy and Mickey and that polyrhythmic thing that they do, because there's just something about that, the way that moves and builds that foundation. That to me is very Grateful Dead. And those guys too are like so spiritually deep into what they dig into rhythmically. It's going back like centuries, way deep. The ancestors, kind of like Native Americans, and their drum circles and how they try to tap into their ancestors. It moves through a different space and time continuum, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And going to shows and having the experience during drums, of like dancing through drums. Before I knew any of what you're saying right now, that they were like students of that, I was having that experience and then second guessing it afterwards and being like, was I just really high? Did that really happen? And then finding out later that was the fact, that was what was really going down. It's like, oh shit. Caught on to that one. Yeah. Yeah. It's really special what they have brought. And I always wonder, this may be a really dumbass question, but whatever. I'm good at that sometimes. Do you think that the current state of the like Americana bluegrass, jamgrass, the whole scene that you're a part of, do you think that even exists now without them?
No, I mean that I always say that, like, it was so heartbreaking when Garcia checked out, but what has bloomed and blossomed from those seeds that band planted, I mean, it's absolutely wild, what has come of it all, this whole festival culture and all these jam bands and I mean and then all these people that still serve those songs and play Grateful Dead music too. I mean, I was reading that book. He's a San Francisco, the San Francisco Chronicle rock journalist for decades. I can't remember his name now or the title of the book. It's a fairly recent book. He was a little harsh in some of it, especially towards Phil Lesh. But one of the things that really blew my mind in that book was he was talking about, and he was on the inside of a bunch of this stuff, and how Phil discovered after Jerry died, when he started to do Phil and Friends, that there were there was this whole community of people that had Dead cover bands and knew this music inside and out and could play this music, and then he started to discover and play with these people. And it was just mind blowing to him to see what was already out there at that time. And this was within a few years of them stopping, and now what it's become, it's wild. And our scene would not exist without them. I mean, they're the grandfathers of it all. I mean,
well, that's what we say. Who else has a tribute cover band in every city, every country in the world?
Yeah.
It's amazing, the music. And then we feel like we talked about that too. Like that's first of all, Phil, for what he has done since, Garcia checked out with Terrapin Crossroads, right? What he has nurtured and continued to give a platform for every young musician. So many people that have come through Terrapin are now part of the group and everything. And then we just felt, we went to the Chicago shows for Fare Thee Well. Which is kind of fun. That's where me and Aaron kind of actually became, we always kind of listened to Fish, and they were kind of like on this, it was all about the Grateful Dead. But then we saw those Fare Thee Well shows with Trey and everything. We were like, oh, so now here we are years later, still delving back through 30-something years of Fish music. It's one of our favorite shows to go to because it's one of the greatest parties on earth, like Grateful Dead was. But we saw like a resurgence of music, almost like Aaron said, like a passing of the torch of those guys passing on, like, hey, here you go, guys, go forward. Let's keep this love going. And we've seen such a resurgence and new bands that have come out since Fare Thee Well. And it's just stronger than ever.
Absolutely. And, at those Grateful Dead shows too, it was like, I mean, I think I know part of what they were up to. They played those shows with virtually no covers, which is strange for a Grateful Dead show, because, they were the world's greatest cover band in some ways too. But, I think it was a lot of licensing stuff because they knew they were filming all those shows, etc. But that aside, what was so awesome was like all 3 nights, they were so deep into their catalog and into these, deep cuts on their records from their entire history. And people, and most of that stadium probably hadn't even seen the real Grateful Dead, at least half of the people there. And these people are singing these songs at the top of their lungs, like songs like DeFreeze Diamond Blues. They're just these really old, nuggets that aren't in the mainstream of even the Grateful Dead ethos. And it just spoke to me, that was just really spoke to the power of that band and like the giant American songbook they created, and now like, it's just part of our fabric. There's new generations of Deadheads every generation that comes up.
It's such a trip. It's such a trip to be, I'm turning 50 this year, and like to have seen it come around a couple of times now is like, what the fuck, man? It's not going away. The music really does never stop. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
In Chicago too, I will never, to the day I die, I mean, 75,000 people chanting "Not Fade Away."
Yeah, dude.
And then carrying that out into the parks in the city of Chicago. And then to add to it, which I know near and dear to you too, Cats, Circles Around the Sun, coming out of that music, that whole story behind Nobody Knew, including friends of their, and that kept the groove going. That was the birth of something else that came out of that. It it's amazing. I guess it's just an honor to be a part of all that and to see it so strong again and getting ready to blow up again as we come out of this shit that we had to deal with.
We have no fucking clue what's about to go down, man. I mean, I can feel it. I can feel there's a pulse happening. There's something cooking.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
The mycelial network and Mother Nature. It's just like,
It's getting ready to fucking
a little
go
bit
down.
of rebirth. Yeah, there's a lot to come. I agree. I've been feeling that too, and we're feeling that with this High Hawks band. And that's funny you bring up the cat stuff. I remember sitting on a bus and Neil playing some of that stuff, and I think Neil had kind of met Mark Levy, the drummer, through us, because I had asked the Congress, which was the band Mark Levy was in. They were out of Denver, and buddies of mine from that scene, and we thought they were just they were like a pretty small outfit, so it was easy production wise to bring them out as an opener for Hardworking Americans, and they really complemented what we were doing in a cool way. It was connected, but it wasn't the same thing. And I remember Neil sitting in with that band a few nights. It was really special. And then those guys went off and made that just amazing body of work. That was that first, material for those Fairly Well shows. It was just, and that all came from Justin Kreutzmann, who shot a film about Hardworking Americans. The guy that owned the label that put out all that Hardworking American stuff, George Bodecker, is the founder of Crocs. This guy's just an absolute, like, he's from another planet, man, and he's just got all these wild ideas, and he's like pitching to us. He's like, well, the band, they filmed their last show and called it The Last Waltz. What if we filmed the first show and we called it The First Waltz? And we're like, dude, you are crazy.
Let's do it.
And we went for it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And Justin just did an amazing job filming that all and directing it and editing it. He did it all, and he filmed a bunch of the sessions at TRI when we were making the record too, because he had that place wired for those, of course, the Grateful Dead, the pioneers they are. They were the ones that started live streaming shows, of course. I mean, that's just the way it goes. They're pioneers in so many ways.
So what happens now for High Hawks? Are you headed out on a tour? What's going down, man?
We're working on more dates. We got one date yet this month in Vail on June 22nd, a big free show at the Gerald Ford Amphitheater, part of this Hot Summer Nights concert series. And that was great because it was a Tuesday night, so it was easy to have everybody available for that. The scheduling thing is really tricky. We're going to be going up to Alaska for a date. There's a festival up there, Salmon Fest, that I've been a part of since it began. And it's been, to stop this pebble mine that they've been trying to do up there. And I've played just about every one of them and just love the people up there. And they love all the guys in this band have played in other bands up at this festival. So we lucked out and everybody can go up to that in August. We're trying to put maybe a few Colorado shows together. We want to do a West Coast run. We need to do a Northeast run.
You got to come up to Portland.
Yeah, a Portland stop, definitely. It's just, we got to find the time. I think December and January are probably going to be the biggest chunks we find here. It's going to be a little bit, but that's all right. I mean, we don't want to force this thing. We want this thing, again, to just be organic and be able to do what it is. But we're all really in love with this thing and super happy about it and want to do a lot of it. And we're already talking about another record. This is just the beginning of it all.
It's a really cool thing to be a fan of the music. And when stuff like this comes out, it feels so good and it's exciting because that something beautiful has been born, but you don't know exactly what it's going to be later yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be able to see it and watch what happens, the progression is really cool, man. And not for nothing, brother, it's really cool to meet you. It's nice to talk to other people that know what's up and can talk the talk and,
Absolutely. I can't wait till we're all hanging at a festival together.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
it's on. It's fucking on.
We're gonna have a good time, you guys.
Yeah,
and I can't wait to take in some music with you guys and just hang. It's been a real pleasure.
Right on, brother.
Get to know you guys, and we're talking the same language here. So kindred spirits and souls.
Feels good.
Well, I wanted to go back to one thing in the beginning to when we were talking about the high hawks and everything, which is this is also to our listeners out there. You guys need to go watch the videos they put together. I love the one with Vince, or the talk about that, because it's fun, but it's also very serious. The lyrics and everything he's talking about, but I just love the way the video is done, how he's sitting there and then the superimposing, and then he splits into 2 of him, 4 of him. It's fun, but heavy and needed. It was how I felt about that one and the entire album. I just thank you guys for your hard work and for doing what you do to make us it's the soundtrack to our lives, all of us, you guys, us. It's like can't be a good movie without an amazing soundtrack to fucking groove along to.
That's a good way to put it, Apple.
Hey, Chad.
Absolutely.
I always put a song at the beginning and the end of the episodes.
Sure.
If you had to pick one, what would it be? I'll pick the other one. I want you to pick one.
Wow. Maybe because of the I think kind of the way this conversation went, and although it's like completely different musically from the rest of the album, maybe Blue Earth might be a cool song to put on this.
You got it. I will make sure that happens, man. And
cool.
Until we meet in person, take care of yourself, brother, and stay well.
Absolutely, you guys, and stay in touch. I don't know if we have each other's emails or anything, but through Maria or whatever, let's get
out.
I'll send you my info.
Cool.
All right.
That way we can communicate and stay in touch. And I can't wait till we're hanging together somewhere.
You got it, man. We'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Yeah,
take care of yourself,
you so
brother.
much. Give our love to all the brothers in the band, man.
Absolutely. Can't wait till we're all hanging.
Take care. Man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Tell me why, oh why, on this blue earth, with so much time to cry. Tell me why, oh why, on this blue earth, with so much time to cry. Tears for the children, tears for the poor, tears for the homeless knocking at your door. Tears of terror and jealousy and rage. Tears for the refugees living in a cage. Tell me why, oh why, on this blue earth, there's so much time to cry. Tell me why, oh why, on this blue earth, there's so much time to cry. But Jesus said we will always be poor, and there'll always be suffering, sorrow and war. And you read it in the newspapers every day, and the tears keep falling down like rain. Tell me why, oh why, on this blue earth, much time to cry. Tell me why. Oh, why? On this blue world, there's so much time to cry. Tears for the soldiers and all the battles fought. Tears for the prisoners chained for their thoughts. Tears for the farmers that can't keep their families fed. Tears for justice that might as well be dead. Tell me why. Oh, why? On this blue earth, there's so much time to cry. Tell me why. Oh, why? On this blue earth, there's so much time to cry.
Wow.
That
we
was,
just met a new friend.
yeah.
We made a friend.
Chad's that thank you, Chad. That was an amazing conversation. Again, that went so quickly.
I looked and I was like, fuck,
it's
we're at
already
an hour.
been that's happening more and more where time just goes. It's like, oh, we could go for 2-3 hours and just keep having fun, hanging out together.
It's such a peculiar, cool thing to. Ain't nothing like a Deadhead. Is I'll just say that. Like, when you meet another Grateful Dead fan that's like in it,
it's immediate kinship
and you could just you speak the same language, and it's the energy of the person is so familiar. It's the weirdest thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's familiar. It is. We're all that's the mycelial net. We're all connected. We're all one thing. We're all in this together. Sometimes that gets forgotten, and this music, this scene, people like Chad. It's amazing.
I love
reinforces that.
One thing that he said in that conversation that stuck with me that I can't wait to put to the test is when he said, we got on stage, after all this, and like I gotta say, like I feel like it was kind of worth the wait.
Yeah.
I hope I feel like that.
Yeah.
I really hope I feel like that. Man.
I think we will. This is and it's stronger than ever because it's been like anything like that. It's like shaking up a soda bottle with the cap on. That pressure is building, and that's got to go somewhere. It's getting ready to just.
Well,
here it comes.
If you haven't been coerced, cajoled, or talked into listening to High Hawks yet, something wrong with you. You need no, go listen to them, you guys. This is really special what they've put together, and it's good medicine. It's and it's fun too. Not to mention fun. Can't forget fun. Fun is important.
Yeah, like that bowl. I highly suggest, as I always suggest, go to YouTube and watch that. That blows me away because I forgot the date that they only played together 2 to 3 days before that show and then got on stage. I think it was the Fox Theater in Boulder. And it looks, I mean, obviously these cats have a lot under their belts and play with other bands, but to get together and just in a couple days and get up on stage and it's like they've been playing together forever. It's a great show.
And Vince is really fun to watch.
Yeah.
We got to get Vince on the show.
Yeah, Vince is really fun to watch. And then, like we all were just saying there, Tim on that fiddle is.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, you know what? We'll be back next week with more stuff and things. I promise we will.
Yes, we will.
There will be another episode next week and the week after.
And Mel will be back in the seat.
Yeah. We miss Mama Bear.
Yeah.
We do. I do. I know I do. I'm going to pick her up from the airport.
I don't
today.
think Darwin does, though.
Oh,
Darwin,
no. He's
the dog could care less.
He's staring at the chair right now, just sad, staring at the wheel on the chair, missing his mom. You guys take care of each other.
Love y'all.
And smile at a stranger because you can, because a lot of us don't have to wear masks anymore. And, hydrate and safety third. And
we'll all be seeing each other at shows very soon.
Here we come. Here we go.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 Windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Hey, this is Steve Choi, host of the Musicians Guild podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media podcast network. Within the four walls of the Musicians Guild, we'll be discussing the habits, idiosyncrasies, experiences, and general psychology of my friends and peers, all involved with music in various capacities. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.